I'm joined by Pete Black Spiders. How you doing, Pete, man?
I'm good, Lee. Yes, I'm here. I'm rocking out, ready to go.
Glad to hear it, man. Glad to hear it. Looks like since we last spoke, though, mate, which was when you released the last release, you've had a great year of gigs and stuff, man, across the thing. I was looking back at stuff before we spoke today, and like the Faux Club, that looked like a great show.
Yeah, we did quite a few tours for the last album, which was great. With two new guitarists in tow, everything went really well, and we did a few festivals, and then we've been kind of cherry picking shows this year, including Just Push Play, to just keep a toe in the water, as it were, because we're working on a new album. So
Well, yeah, well, as you mentioned that first and foremost, thanks for headlining this year's Just Push Play, man. I'm really excited to have you guys down the Apex. We had you looked in for a little while now, obviously, but yeah, I'm excited. It's soon
no, it's
coming
great,
up,
man. We
man.
can't wait. We're really looking forward to it.
Oh, thanks,
Really
Steve.
looking forward to it.
Yeah, I know you've played some shows over last year with certain bands that are on the bill, like Muddy Brook, for example. I know you guys did some shows with them this year. So
Yeah,
it's
we played with those guys a couple of times. They've been on a few of our shows when we played. Yeah, really good. Looking forward to some of the other bands. Like we've not not really played with all the bands that are on the lineup, but just like really looking forward to it. To be fair, I mean, I posted it myself the other day about it being like a really great lineup, which it is,
thanks, man.
and yeah, we're just really looking forward to it. Never seen Ollie Brown with Dead Collective, but heard some great things, and obviously, like you say, seen Muddy Brook before. There's a couple of other bands I wouldn't mind checking out on their Blue Nation
Yeah.
as well. So yeah, it's good. It's all good.
Oh no, thanks, and thanks for that. I know you've been, like I say, doing the post and everything the last few days, so I appreciate that, man. It all helps, and and especially these last couple of months towards it. But so I really appreciate it. But we were talking earlier. You mentioned it there that you're working on the new album. How's that all coming together? How's that all going?
It's coming together relatively easy. I'm a bit suspicious that it's so easy. To be fair, it's definitely the easiest record we've ever made so far. Got a lot of great songs. Producers really vibing off this one. And like this is the fifth studio album that we've done with him. And so he's got really high hopes for it being yet another ear blinding, face melting piece of vinyl. So yeah, it's something I think it's something we're all looking forward to. Like we had a lot of songs when we went into writing the last album.
Yeah.
And so obviously we kind of thought, well, maybe we've got a few left spilt over that we can kind of start demoing as soon as. But true to form, we've had lots of writing spurts as well. So it's really good that we're kind of not really overwhelmed with the amount of songs we've got, but we've certainly got another couple of albums there, to be sure.
Nice. Did any of the songs like run over from the last release, or was it just a brand new writing session?
There's a couple of songs that like were never really finished, that never really made even the demo stage for the last record. But they are, so they are quite sort of fresh because they were like looked at and worked on again. And but then I think the ones that we've picked, are just the best ones. So a lot of those are the new ones, and we didn't just pick them because they're the newest and they sound the most fresh to us. I guess it's just we go through this process where we kind of demo some stuff up, and then we chat with the producer, and he sort of says, well, that one sounds really good, and then this one's okay, so let's do that. That one might need a little bit more work before it comes to the studio. So there's quite a bit of a process that we've been going through to kind of to hone down the best of the best, really.
Okay, that's cool. So with that process, I mean, has that changed at all over the last sort of 5 albums? Like you say, you've been working with Matt for a little while now. Has that owned?
Yeah, I mean, with the first couple of albums, um, I guess, and a lot of the EPs, lot of the songs that we were writing then, we'd be, in the rehearsal room doing those, because I guess at that time we were doing a lot of gigs where we'd not actually done an album, and so we had quite a lot of songs, and we were just kind of going through that whole process of finding our feet and figuring out who we were as a band and all that, and then yeah, I guess, and then after we took the break and we came back after COVID, or well, actually during COVID, we kind of found a new way of writing songs, and kind of moving forward with that. So, or maybe not a new way of writing songs. That's not the right way of putting it. Like, what I meant was a new way of the songs developing.
Yeah.
So songs are still written in the same sort of way. You get an idea, you put it down, you try and make a little demo of it. And then we started passing it around with each other, and then we kind of build on it, and sort of then someone would say, okay, well, I like the way that goes like this, but I think it needs something else there, or that needs to be twice as long, or this should be a little bit shorter, and here's my edited version, see what you think. And we kind of work on it like that, and then we get to a stage where we'd be like, right, okay, we think this song is ready to go into the studio. Although it might change a bit in the studio, we're kind of happy with how it is up to that point.
Yeah.
And we kind of just carried on doing it that way, really. We haven't really been, I mean, the only time we go in the rehearsal room, I'll say only time, and we are in the rehearsal room quite a lot, but when we're in the rehearsal room, we're kind of working on sets for the live shows, and we're trying to pick different songs that, maybe some songs that we haven't played for a long time, maybe some songs that we've never played. We did a couple of songs that we haven't played in over 10 years at the gig that we did at the Cart and Horses for the Patreon show, well, I guess it was the end of April, was it, or something like that, I think.
Yeah.
Or beginning of May. And so yeah, so we spend a lot of time rehearsing and trying to make the songs sound as good as what we remember and what other people will probably remember. So when it comes to the writing, we haven't actually got back into that sort of rehearsing enough to just kind of start jamming out some ideas, because of everybody's schedule around the band and stuff. It's hard enough as it is, so it's kind of easier when we're focusing on other people's demo ideas and everyone's different demo ideas, and sending them to each other.
Well, fair play. I mean, you say it's not working in the way it once did, but it's obviously still working, because you've released quite a couple of albums since you guys got back to since the band reformed, and you had your EP, of course, Death Proof EP along the way. So you still been turning out a lot of good stuff. So it's obviously still working, mate.
Yeah, I think we've been quite we've been quite creative in a shorter space of time than what we were when we were originally together. And I probably put that down to it being everything. When we came back from COVID, we had a bit more of an open. Everything was a bit more open-minded, and everyone was kind of a little bit more positive about it, and we kind of just kept that going, really. And the positivity was I think what spurred us on, and kind of, because at one stage I think before we kind of called it a break, we'd kind of, because we were touring so much, we'd sort of stop writing songs, or stop focusing on writing songs, and kind of thought we didn't really need to until we were going to get a bit of downtime to start writing something for a new album. So we kind of got into the mindset of just keep on writing whatever's happening. And, because more often than not, you'll get three decent ideas and 2 dogs. And so, so the more ideas you come up with and the more you work on them and things like that, then the more you bound to get some that'll stick.
No.
And yeah, I think just the positivity of just moving forward and being, you know, and just having that mindset that, like, right, you know, we can get at least 5 or 6 more albums done, you know, is kind of what's pushed us forward, really.
I was going to say, was that something that was important to you? Because plenty of bands, you know, they get back together and don't really write anything for a while. They'll live off, you know, past albums and stuff, and do that side of things for a little bit. I could guess when you guys got the band, that was one thing you didn't want to do. You wanted to keep writing and keep producing.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it was slightly difficult, like, you know, and a bit. I guess we were kind of contemplating what it might be like in a post-COVID world once we'd got a new album together and out and everything, you know, considering we had called it a day for, you know, and then, you know, and the first 2 albums had kind of created such a strong fan base for us. I guess there was a lot of people that were disappointed at that point that we'd kind of, you know, decided to put a stop to it for a while. And so we were kind of contemplating how that would go down. Even though we were confident about the music, you know, like in that short space of time, you know, the way music was listened to and viewed, and the way people went out to gigs and other things had kind of moved on as well. So, you know, it's, you know, I guess it's difficult trying to think you're still relevant, you know.
Yeah, especially if you, like, say, if you've taken that break and then come back and not having anything.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I think even if we wouldn't have taken that break, you know, you have to kind of, I guess you have to think whether or not what you're making is still relevant and whether it's going to make any difference, and you know, whether it's just like a hobby. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, if you're pouring your heart and soul into it, and you kind of like, you know, and when you're doing your gigs, you mean every minute of it. It kind of, I guess it means a little bit more. Hopefully, it does to us anyway. You know, so.
Well, no, absolutely, absolutely. You talked about Just Push Play there, of course, obviously, which I'm really grateful. You still got a few gigs lined up though. I saw you playing Blackpool, my birthday weekend actually, so I might come up for that. I've not been to Waterloo for a while. That looks like it's.
Well, yeah, we had kind of agreed to sort of try and do at least one fan club show a year for the patrons that had been supporting us, especially, you know, once when we make the albums, we seem to get a few more patrons because, you know, we've got the content from the studio, so like people are getting to have a listen to some of the new songs that are coming, and you know, and there's like lots more going on the Patreon. Obviously, it's been a little bit quiet over the last sort of 6 months or whatever, because, you know, we haven't really been pushing anything with the last album, and we've been kind of thinking about how the new album's going to go.
Yeah.
So we decided we would, and because we'd done so much last year, we kind of missed out doing a fan club show last year. So we decided this year we'd do 2.
Yeah, right.
When we did one the year before, we did it in Huddersfield, and, you know, I mean, I guess as with most things, you know, when you announce that you're playing shows, you know, lots of people will say, "Oh, why aren't you coming to play our town?" or "Why aren't you coming to play our town?" But, you know, it's really hard when you're trying to, you know, pick a tour and where you can go and what venues are available, and like if the routing's going to make it work for you financially and all that kind of stuff. And so what we decided to do was, with the Patreon gigs, was do one southern show and one northern show. So that's why we decided to do London at the Cart and Horses, and then this Blackpool show, you know, in November, which should be cool. And then, you know, we just got another couple of shows around that. I mean, after we do Just Push Play, we kind of got offered to play in a venue in Hull, the Adelphi, which we did back in the day when we were like only just starting out.
All right.
and they were really supportive of the band. And it's their 40th anniversary year of
Oh, that's cool.
them being a venue. So we thought we'd kind of do that one as like a little one-off. And then we've got another festival up in Inverness towards the end of the year. And so we thought, well, you know, while we're up in Scotland, we don't really get to play Scotland that much. Maybe we'd do another gig on the way back from there.
Yeah, makes sense.
As the last gig of the year, before everything sort of kicks off for next year, really, because I'm guessing, you know, we'd be we're hoping to be quite busy next year once the new record's out.
Have you got a kind of rough timeline for when you want that to be out, mate?
Well, you know, I mean, if we can get it together in time and get all the bits that need doing, you know, get all the mechanics of it together, and you know, everything else, which is pretty much coming together quite well, actually. Like I said, you know, originally, it's surprisingly coming together surprisingly well. I guess we'd like to get it out in the you know, the first quarter of next year if we can.
Nice.
At the latest, you know. We'll see what it looks like for times and stuff like that, because I guess when we put out the last couple of albums, there's, you know, there was issues with vinyl because of the COVID had shut a few of the plants down and stuff. So, you know, I guess we just need to see how all that lies, you know. But I think if we get things finished, you know, in the next few months, which hopefully we will, then hopefully we'll have plenty of time to, you know, to rest on that and think about, you know, if and when we're going to put some new music out before the album comes out, and what that's going to be, and if we're going to do any more, you know, if we're going to do some new shows based on that and all those kind of things, you know. I guess we've got a lot of discussions to have on where that's concerned.
No, fair play. And you got all this sort of, you know, you say there's all the business side of it as well, and who's starting up and all that kind of thing. So especially with the vinyl.
Yeah, you know, that's true. I mean, the thing is, you know, we've got more than enough songs, which is a kind of a good place to be, because that means, you know, I mean, everyone's happy with all the songs. So depending on what they all turn out like in the studio, you know, I mean, it'll then come down to trying to pick an album out of those songs.
Yeah.
And then once we've done that, obviously, then there's the track listing. We've already kind of decided on the artwork and everything, so that's kind of underway already. And then it's just all about that, and then, you know, which songs we think are going to be the ones that are going to help to promote the record. So yeah, there's a couple of conversations where that's concerned, but you know, I think relatively easy like compared with the albums that have gone before.
Yeah, no, fair play. So have any of those songs been played at the Patreon gigs and stuff yet, or are you holding those back a bit? No.
Not yet, no. We were considering maybe doing one or two before the end of the year, but I'm not sure whether that's going to happen. We'll just have to wait and see.
No, fair play. Fair play. So it sounds like next year will be a busy one in terms of promoting the new record then.
Yeah, hopefully, you know, fingers crossed we'll be able to get out, and, you know, I mean, we've got a little bit of a plan. Sorry, wasn't me that fell over. We've got a little bit of a plan for it all, and so the way that we're planning things means that we'll pretty much be able to tour whenever we want next year. So with that in mind, you know, we'd hope to do something around the release or just after the release, and then we've got some plans for the summer, and then hopefully they will slot around some of the festivals.
Nice.
And then, you know, we decided we didn't like touring in the cold weather. But we always used to tour in February and then October, November.
Oh.
And we realized that they were the worst times of the year to tour because of the weather and everything else. So, you know, a late spring tour and a late summer tour is our thing now. Unless, of course, we get offered some, you know, some bigger shows. Like we ended up doing some shows at the end of last year with Airbourne.
Yes, yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
which was really great to play with those guys again.
I was going to say, because I've seen you play with them like before.
Yeah, you know, I think even if, you know, when they open a can of, you know, like when they open a can of beer, they want us to be first on. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, because we're really good mates with those guys, and I think, you know, they like what we do, and you know, and I guess it really suits working with them, and they know that we put everything into it, and so it kind of makes them better at their shows as well. And so I think every so often they think they need a kick up the arse, so they give us a shout and say, "Do you want to do us a couple of dates supporting us?" Just to kind of, you know, get back into that sort of get a bit of a reality check, really, I guess, because I suppose if you're out on tour that much and you're just playing and playing and playing, you don't really, I guess you might not get to see what, you know, what other bands that are in your sort of similar sort of area are getting up to. And, you know, I guess, I don't know, I'm blowing smoke up my own arse here, I think, Lee. But yeah, I think we give them a run for their money, which I think they like. And so, you know, who knows, you know, never say never when it comes to supporting Airbourne.
No, absolutely not. It was a good pairing, man. Like, you want that kind of high energy from the support at the end of the day. Like, never spoke to bad people about it before. And the last thing you want is, you know, go watch the support band and either the sound's been mucked up with the support band, which happens, and it's always like, you're like, what are you doing? Or, you know, it's just they've deliberately chosen a support band that they feel that they could go out and overshadow, you know? You know,
Yeah.
it's nice when you get a support. Like, you know, is it just as a punter? It's nice when you go out and you get all three bands, even if you don't know the first two. That, you know, it's absolutely storming all the way through. It's what you want in the day.
I think, yeah, you know, it's obviously much more value for money, and you know, when you put two really good bands together, it's better for the, you know, like it's better for a, you know, it's a better night out, really, I suppose, in a way.
Absolutely.
Or a day, depending on what time it's on.
Very true. Very true. Do you feel that's like more of like a sparring scenario, in that scenario that you're going back and forth a little bit and kicking each other? You think you get a kick as much as Airbourne gets a kick, for example, in that scenario, like you were saying, Airbourne wants that kind of, oh, well, we've got to up our game. But do you then think, well, we better up our game because we're...
Yeah, I mean, well, when we've done consecutive touring dates with them, yeah, you know, you get to see how they put a show on, and so then I guess you try to up your own game a little bit, and just, you know, but obviously that you know, that can depend on like the crowd as well, and other circumstances and things. But like, you know, when you're playing like for 6 weeks, day in day out, every night or every other night or whatever, then, you know, you as a band you become really tight. So, you know, it really helped us, you know, it really kind of, you know, we really earned our stripes when we did a few tours with those guys. But at the same time, you know, you just have to, I guess you just have to have that confidence to go on in the first place, and just be like, you know, we're going to blow you off tonight, so watch out, kind of thing. You know, we just have to get that feeling and get that confidence to go out and just think, you know, it might not be our audience, but we're going to steal every one of them.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah. So, but we haven't done that for a while. We haven't been out on tour with another band for quite a long time. So, you know, obviously, it's good when you can do that when you're playing bigger venues, as long as the people are coming in early to see you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That works really well. So it obviously then spills over onto when you do your own shows. So, you know, hopefully we can kind of do a little bit of that next year. You know, who knows? We might get some offers before the end of this year, but at the moment, we're only considering doing a couple of those shows of our own at the moment. But if something really good comes along, you know, sometimes you can never say no.
No, absolutely not. No, fair play. I mean, I saw some photos from the Cart and Horses show, and that looked fucking brilliant. It looked like everyone.
Yeah, it was. It was quite mental, to be honest. I mean, when never been there before. Heard so much about it for like years, and then we got there, and to be fair, all the way through the day, it wasn't going very well at all, and we were thinking, how is this going to be? Is this going to be terrible? But then when it actually got to the gig and everybody was in, and we just went for it, it was a great gig. We've done like the last couple of shows we've played have been really, like we kind of thought have been really great. When we played Winter's End for Planet Rock, that was like a really great show as well.
Nice.
And then, what else did we do? Oh, maybe that might have been it actually. That was the one in February, and then that was a really great show. And then this last one at the Cart on Horses. So, it's good. And the rehearsals have been sounding good too. So, really looking forward to push play in August, because that's our next stop really.
Nice one. Well, thank you again for headlining, man. I really appreciate you coming on. I've been a fan of you guys for a while.
Well, no, thank you for asking. It's a pleasure, mate.
No. It's always a thing for me. Like, the reason I put on the show is, memory of my dad and raising money for the hospice and all that. So it's always been whoever's on the bill is something that I don't throw away stuff half-heartedly. It's always someone that I really, really want. So I appreciate you guys coming on board, man.
That should be good, mate. We're really looking forward to it, and and checking out some of the other bands as well that are on there during the day as well, because obviously a lot of those bands are really good as well. So hopefully, the audience will be around all day to see everybody really, and appreciate what a great lineup you've got together.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Well, thanks for coming on, Pete, and I will see you, like I say, see you in August, mate, which will soon come round.
Yes, it will, before you know it.
Oh, mate, it doesn't seem that long since the last one, if I'm totally honest with you, but there we go. But at the beginning of the interview, I'm going to play Destroyer just because it's one of my favorites.
Okay, cool.
What song of yours would you like us to play at the end of the interview?
Ooh, that's a difficult one there. You put me on the spot, Lee. I think I might have to go with Death Comes Creeping. That's a favorite of mine, especially to play live. And it just reminds me of the way that when I hear it, it just reminds me of how that song came together. I just remember Ozzy had this riff, and I was like, oh, that sounds like a bit of a riff that I've got, but mine's like a bit faster than that. And so then we basically melded the two songs together, and
nice.
For me, it's a Black Spiders classic, because it's kind of basically got all the elements that you want. It's got like the fast sort of punky bits to it. It's got like the really rocky, stoner kind of Sabbathy vibe. It's great. Plus, it's kind of got that really crazy, almost Star Trek vibe that Ozzy does on it at the beginning.
Very true. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Which is really good. Yeah, I love it. I love it so much. It's all good.
Cool. Well, let him, Pete. And thanks for your time, man. I'll see you in August, pal.
Cheers, Lee. Thanks, mate.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
Take care.